First two episodes for Ahsoka were screened for us critics. I got my thoughts on this one in a non-spoiler review next. Hey everyone, it's the Outlaw John Rocha here. Thanks so much for clicking play on this video. I'm going to break down the first two episodes of Ahsoka in a non-spoiler way, giving you my overall general thoughts, because we got spoiler reviews coming on the Outlaw Nation from the Geek Buddies and the Jedi Way, but just wanted to jump on and give you some quick thoughts here before this thing debuts later on today at 6 p.m. PT. Before I do though, I want to remind you all to please subscribe to the channel down below, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see we're dropping all the content we do here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Well, Ahsoka is upon us. Finally, we've seen the trailers, we've seen the footage, we've seen the teases of NATASHA LIU BORDIZZO as Sabine Wren. We've got Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera Syndulla. We know that we're going to get Ray Stevenson and IVANNA SAKHNO as these new characters, Baylan and Shin Hati, who are teaming up with Morgan Elsbeth to help bring Thrawn back. And we know that Ahsoka wants to go after Thrawn because of what happened at the end of Star Wars Rebels, and she feels that Thrawn will be the one that comes back and messes up the tenuous peace that is happening across the galaxy in their minds, thanks to the New Republic taking over from the Empire. So that's a kind of a basic gist of what's going on over these first two episodes. So I'll give you my overall feelings about it. I really enjoy these first two episodes. A lot of fun to be had here if you're a Star Wars fan who likes the old school original trilogy or prequel trilogy, but there's also shades of Andor. This is a darker story than you might have expected with a character like Ahsoka, even though we've seen some darker storylines with her, of course, in Clone Wars and a little bit in Rebels. I was really surprised at how they go into the Andor types of level of darkness in the first two episodes here. And Rosario Dawson is doing a fantastic job as Ahsoka Tano. Love, this is the older, grizzled, been through the wars of life Ahsoka Tano, but still feeling the things that have happened to her in the past, still remembering the issues with Anakin, remembering her own training here as we get that coming to her strongly when she has to be confronted by the things that happened between her and Sabine, where she was essentially Sabine's master, and that becomes an issue between them. And I think NATASHA LIU BORDIZZO, they do an excellent job of introducing her as Sabine. She's a badass. She definitely walks her own path, just like in Rebels, and she's older as well, so she's even more ingrained in her behavior. I love the performance from NATASHA LIU BORDIZZO as Sabine Wren. You know, I'm a big fan of Tia Sakar and what she did with the character in Star Wars Rebels in the animated series, but Natasha makes Sabine her own here and fits within the construct. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, for me, grows into the part of Hera Syndulla over these first two episodes. First episode, not 100% behind it, but as the second episode goes on, we get more with her, very much feeling like she is coming into her own as Hera Syndulla. Ray Stevenson is fantastic here. There's so much they do with him, from the opening introduction of who he is, and IVANNA SAKHNO, I think she does a good job here as essentially his Padawan, learning from him. I got the vibe from her that she was a child who was from a broken family or a broken home, or was taken from her home, and she sees Baylan as this kind of father figure. So they have that relationship throughout the first two episodes for sure. And I think Ray Stevenson, the late great Ray Stevenson, brings this gravitas to that role that is really powerful. His shoulders are massive in the costumes they put him in, and he certainly commands the space. There's an ease, there's a calmness. You know, for those of us who grew up with him, or enjoyed him rather, and got to know him in Rome with a different character, I think it's Titus Pullo was his name, a much more aggressive, a reactionary character. This is a much more laid-back performance, a much more calm performance, and he does a great job. And it's all the more tragic that he passed away so suddenly, right on the precipice of this show coming out, and him discovering a new level of fame and a new level of love for his work. And I think David Tennant does a fantastic job as Hu Yang. I mean, this is a character we've seen obviously in Clone Wars and whatever, but to see it live action and the way that it's portrayed here, I thought it worked so well. Everyone could use a little Hu Yang life lessons in life. I mean, there should be a whole book that comes out with lessons from Hu Yang and every page is just like a 10-word sentence or less. The one person I'm a little kind of on the fence about in terms of performances is Diana Lee Inosanto here as Morgan Elsbeth. Not 100% great in her performance, a little bit over the top in certain moments, a little bit, I'm the evil person in the room, and it's not as layered or complex or nuanced as we see from the other actors in the series. So for me, she's the one kind of negative for me overall. As far as the story and direction in the first 2 episodes, I really enjoyed them. Dave Filoni directing the first episode, doing a wonderful job here of laying the groundwork of the 2 factions that we're going to be following in the first 2 episodes, right? You got one side with Morgan Elsbeth, Balin, and Shin Hati, the other side with Ahsoka trying to bring the Rebels crew back together here to go after Thrawn. They want to stop Thrawn and find out what happened to Ezra. The other side wants to go get Thrawn and bring him back into power here, as we saw, obviously, teased in The Mandalorian Season 3 in that council scene that we got with Moff Gideon. So that's basically the impetus, and we check in with everybody and where they're at with each other in terms of the relationships, the conflicts, that kind of stuff, and then we see what the overall goals are and how they're going to achieve these goals. In the first episode, we get some good action sequences. There's an awesome fight with Ahsoka Tano, and there's some stuff with Sabine, and that carries over into the second episode where we see the consequences and ramifications of that, and then we get to a set action piece here that I thought worked really well in the second episode. Steph Green, just a superstar director in the making here in Star Wars. The way they lead to this fight sequence, it's pretty badass, is awesome as well. And we get a little bit more of the darkness, a little bit more of what's driving Morgan Elsbeth. There's a lot done here, story-wise and direction-wise, in the first 2 episodes that works so well for me. Kevin Kiner's score, good God almighty. What a fantastic composer Kevin is. I mean, he is just taking the reins a little bit from John Williams. I'm not trying to do any sacrilege here, but a little bit taking the reins from John Williams. Does an excellent job of laying the real weight and heaviness of the stakes of the show in certain sound cues. As I said when I tweeted it out, the Ahsoka theme to me sounds like a battle dirge for the souls lost in the combat before and the souls to be lost in the wars to come. And I loved that vibe to it, but also the aspirational stuff works really well. The aspirational sound cues, the adventurous sound cues, the stuff that is kind of the softer stuff going on when certain relationships are being mended. All of that works really well, and Kevin Kiner does a fantastic job here throughout, and even the darker stuff when you're glimpsing how evil this Thrawn situation might become. He does an excellent job with the sound cues there as well. If there's anything negative, I already mentioned the issues with Morgan Elsbeth, but I will reiterate the Star Wars lightsaber battles that happen here are a little bit slow, a little bit choreographed in certain moments, and that kind of takes away from the emotional elements going on here. But the performances within the lightsaber battles do a great job of you kind of looking over a little bit that they felt a little bit choreographed. Maybe some good editing would have helped that out overall, but in the end, it doesn't 100% have that magic. Overall, I give both of these episodes overall 4.25 cowboy hats out of 5 cowboy hats. Great stuff going on here that I really enjoyed. A nice mixture of Andor and old school Star Wars here that works really well, along with the Star Wars Rebels stuff, the overall Star Wars Rebels vibe that works really well here. So if you're a Rebels fan, if you're a Clone Wars fan, I think this is going to work for you on a lot of levels for sure. Well, let me know when you get a chance to see both these episodes, what you thought about it down in the comments section below. Hit a like on this video, share it on your social media, and more than anything else, please subscribe to the channel down below and hit that bell button so you see when I'm dropping all the content we do here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Don't forget that we have spoiler reviews coming up here from the Geek Buddies and the Jedi Way here on the Outlaw Nation channel. So we got you covered on the Ahsoka front every week until the series ends. All right, y'all take care of yourselves, be well, and I'll talk to you next time with a brand new review here on the Outlaw Nation.